Latest on Israel-Hamas war. Israeli forces on Sunday advanced further into the Shajaya neighborhood of northern Gaza. Forces also pushed deeper into western and central Rafah in the south. At least 6 people were killed and several homes were destroyed in the strike. The Israeli military said forces operating in Shajaya killed several Hamas operatives. Gunmen located weapons and struck military infrastructure. The military also announced the death of 2 Israeli soldiers in northern Gaza on Saturday. Meanwhile, Israel's finance minister has extended a waiver that allows cooperation between Israeli and Palestinian banks in the occupied West Bank. The waiver also, in fact, allows Israeli banks to process shekel payments for services and salaries tied to the Palestinian Authority. An Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz said on Saturday that Iran's message of an obliterating war made it worthy of destruction. Katz said in a post on X, and I quote, "A regime that threatens destruction deserves to be destroyed." He also said Israel will act with full force against Hezbollah if it does not stop firing at Israel. Iran's UN mission said on Friday that if Israel embarks on a full-scale military aggression in Lebanon, an obliterating war will ensue. Hezbollah has been exchanging fire with Israel since October in parallel with the Gaza war. Let's go across to Tel Aviv. DD India's Sarah Kotz is joining us live. Sarah, tell us the latest on ceasefire talks and also world leaders growing increasingly concerned over the situation on Israel's northern border.
Hello, there are extremely worrying threats that you just read out there from Israel's foreign minister and also Iran's person for the United Nations. Now, obliterating war, that is, of course, something nobody in this region wants to see. And this, of course, is why so many countries are so very worried about this escalating violence on that border between Israel and Lebanon. Now, a little earlier today, Hezbollah came out to say that 2 of its fighters were actually killed in an Israeli airstrike over the past few hours as these cross-border attacks just escalate. Now, this, of course, is why a number of countries are calling on their citizens, Saudi Arabia being the very latest, to say, if you're in the region, if you are in Lebanon, you should leave now while commercial flights are still available. And also directors of a number of hospitals in Israel's north, they are telling their staff to prepare for a high casualty scenario where many, many wounded people may flood through the door if in fact this happens. And really over the past few days, what we have been seeing here on the ground are more tanks, more troops being deployed to this northern area amid fears of an all-out escalation.
Sarah, also Israel extends banking ties with Palestine in the sidelines of the war. Tell us, what does it mean?
Well, this is certainly very important given a number of these struggling communities in the West Bank that are under the control of the Palestinian Authority. This would cause a lot of disruption, a lot of chaos if indeed they were cut off from the banking system. Now, it would also have dire implications for Israel's security situation. And this is what we did hear from Janet Yellen, the US Treasury Secretary. She really issued a warning saying that this is something, this communication, this payments between Israel and Palestinian Authority, that it needs to continue simply because of these reasons that I just stated. Now, it was signed off on by the finance minister here in Israel, Bezalel Smotrich. The extension will run for another 4 months and it will give shekel payments tied to salaries and other services that are provided by the Palestinian Authority, the ability to be transferred. It's also important to say just how much is actually transferred normally on a yearly basis. According to official data, shekels exchanged at Palestinian banks just last year alone made up $14 billion.
All right, Sarah, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for getting us the latest from Tel Aviv.